you too could have the powers of Satan. Just like me, stud boy.
Huh?
It's called hentai, and it's art.
There will come a time in every man's life where he is humbled in awe by the sheer beauty, excellence, and perfection of a true work of art. That's right, people. Today, we're talking about zombie gang rape orgies set in World War II. What am I doing with my life? Today we're talking about Adventure Kid, not to be confused with Super Kid. I don't even want to think about that atrocity anymore.
You're nothing more than a two-bit magician who knows a few simple tricks. With my tail, I'll squeeze the life out of you.
But Adventure Kid was something that I feel like I stumbled upon one of the holy grails of anime. Oh man, let me tell you guys, because I was looking for something very particular for this episode of Guilty Pleasure Theater. I was looking for something that I hadn't seen before. I was looking for something that was horror, because it is October, and I was also looking for something that had an English dub, which was also funny. And I struck gold. Let me tell you, this is a story which is set... It's not exactly set in World War II, but during the events of World War II, there was a scientist in Japan who was analyzing some of the data behind some of the bombs that were going to get dropped on Japan, and basically he was accused of treason. So the some of the soldiers, the Japanese soldiers, went to his house, they raped his wife in front of him, and then they shoved him into this giant computer, because, you know, back then, I don't really, but, you know, they had the giant computers back then with, like, the glass tubes and everything. I don't even know if they had glass tubes back then, but that's how they have it animated here. I didn't fact-check any of this because it's a hentai about zombies and all sorts of, like, other weird stuff. You're gonna find out. But he gets shoved inside of this computer, and they push it into his closet. Like, he couldn't get out of the computer. They lock him in the closet inside of the computer, and then they burn his house down. So, naturally, you know, he wouldn't just die. He becomes one with the computer, because why the hell not? So he's one with the computer, and in the beginning of the episode, Norikazu, I think his name is, the main character, basically in his front yard, for no reason whatsoever, they're just digging, and under like this much dirt, they find this giant ass computer that's sticking out about this far already, that's like super heavy, and they don't know what's going on with it. So the only person that they know who can analyze what the hell is going on here is basically Norikazu, because his dad comes out and he says, I'm just gonna let you take a look.
Hmm? Oh great, I'm no good with machines anyway.
Come on, Papa. Let's go in the house. Come on.
Hmm? Hey, Norikazu! Norikazu!
Oh, hey, hi there, Dad. What's up?
Can you believe the amount of enthusiasm these guys have? I wonder how much money they were getting paid for these lines. Probably not a whole lot, because there's like zero effort with this, like less than zero. I think they did a great job though, because I laughed a hell of a lot watching this, but basically Norikazu just comes on out and manages somehow or another to attach a 3.5-inch floppy disk drive to this old ass World War II tech computer that's got like the glass and everything in it. Like, I don't know how computers were back then. I have no idea, especially like computers in Japan. Did they even have, I don't know, I'm not going to fact check any of this stuff. It doesn't matter, it's hentai with zombie rape. Fact checking is not really that important here. So basically, he sticks in a 3.5-inch floppy disk drive, which I have no idea how much space is on one of these things. Probably just a few megabytes. I had them growing up, totally forgot about them now, but probably even less than that. But he slides one of those in and gets shocked as he's pulling it out, and that shocking is basically the personality, the entire personality of the guy that was trapped on the computer getting downloaded into that tiny little disc. And Norikazu goes back in, sticks it in his computer, because he's the tech wizard, basically, because the anime starts off and he's like playing a strategy game on his computer with a beeping and the booping.
So what's the great game today?
Pacific War Simulation.
Oh, You got games on the brain, Norikazu. Boring, boring. You perv! You were looking at my panties!
Wait, I didn't see anything. They aren't white.
So as Norikazu sticks in that floppy disk into his computer, he becomes possessed and starts putting out like all of this code on his keyboard with his eyes glowing.
I have awakened.
Smoke weed every day.
And basically what's happening here is he's creating some sort of program along with the personality of the guy that was somehow become a biocomputer trapped inside of the computer. I guess he made such a big mess inside of there that with the fire and everything, it kind of combined and became a bio-computer or something. I don't know. So basically, he downloads them onto the computer there, and it becomes some sort of time machine. Something like where Norikazu and his girlfriend get sucked inside of the machine, and all of this is because, I mean, at the end of the anime, all of this is explained, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. The story's not that important, but all of it is explained to be the fact that the guy who had the computer, who, you know, he became part of the computer, became this, like, overlord and was trying to kill the main characters because Norikazu's girlfriend was actually the reincarnation of the scientist's wife who was raped in front of him, and, yeah, this is batshit crazy. I feel like I'm losing my mind just watching this. Did I stumble upon something that was just hilarious, or did I stumble upon something that I managed to lose my mind? So, before I head off to the rest of the story here, I want to address something that happened in Norikazu's home, because his dad is a total gem of a character. I mean, we look at his dad, he's a total, I wouldn't say he's a total pervert, because he's doing what he's doing inside, but he is hooking up with a maid, and it's just funny to watch him.
Very nice.
Oh, you're always embarrassing me.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Hi.
I think we can all tell that Adventure Kid is going to be one hell of a ride. Norikazu and his friends get on this elevator, and it opens up at this random room which is filled with miscellaneous computer parts, and they all just start combining together to form this electric tentacle monster, and then that's when we get this golden nugget of dialogue.
Shit, this thing is headed for the damn roof!
That's kind of what they do, isn't it? They go to the ceiling, and then they go down to the floor, and then they go everywhere else in between. It's been a long time since I've been on an elevator, but maybe they do something different now. Maybe they go from side to side and front and back, but call me old-fashioned, but I think elevators should just go up and down. I don't know, but I'm just going to leave it to the anime to decide of what an elevator should be doing, but they come through the roof of the elevator and have to fight this computer machine that is like trying to just rape the girls because it's hentai, and I have like really weird things that I watch and like to make videos about.
Kazuya, I don't believe it! Outside! Outside!
Outside?
Kazuya! What the hell is going on?
Nori, run for it!
Just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, which I think by now people have just thrown that notion out of the window, Norikazu and his girlfriend get teleported through the computer, which serves as some sort of time machine, except for it's not. It's just running a simulation created by the persona which he uploaded. So after Norikazu and his girlfriend are sent through the computer, there are two destinations which await them. One of them is Japan, World War II, and another is Hell. From, I guess, why the hell not? So basically they go to Japan, World War II, there's zombies there, there's soldiers there, they're raping people, there's like one of the officers has one of these hands, which is like his fingers are nothing but like alien dicks.
I'll give you pleasures beyond what anyone of your world could know.
So as I'm watching this, I cannot help but be struck by the question of, how is this even porn? Are people actually supposed to masturbate to this? Because we've had so many sex scenes so far which were just nothing but, like, the first one was zombies, had girls tied up and a zombie had like half of his skull missing and his brains hanging out. Nobody's gonna fap to that. Then we had Norikazu's dad, which is fat and bald. I would hope nobody's gonna fap to that. And then we had this whole thing with the dick fingers, and there's just so much weird sex scenes going on, and I feel like the majority of this anime, except for the last episode, is just nothing but stuff that nobody would find appealing in any way. I mean, maybe somebody, like, who's to say, because, you know, everything's porn if you're brave enough. So it's here that this crazy mad scientist trapped inside of the computer reveals himself and basically his thought process behind everything, and the characters find themselves being sent to hell, but it's not the real hell, it's just another part of the computer simulation. And here we see that there's elves with G-strings and just they're topless, and I don't know what they're wearing. I can't show any of it because this is YouTube, but basically they gotta try and find their way to get out of hell, and to do that, the elf sends them on this sort of quest. Or maybe she's a devil, or I don't know what exactly she is, but she sends Norikazu's girlfriend on a quest to go into a cave and get this ogre and break off his horn and bring it back in the time before she manages to make her Norikazu have an orgasm. And he's trying to, like, distract himself with math problems the whole time. But the quest itself I thought was, like, really funny, because we had Norikazu's girlfriend who goes off into this cave, and she meets this strange green, like, weird looking ogre that is just someone who... He's one of the people that reveals the most embarrassing things about themselves, like as soon as you meet them, way too much information.
What the heck is this?
It's S&M.
S&M?
Everyone in the human world does it. We tie each other up and hit each other with whips.
Drip candles on each other? Drink each other's piss? That's tight!
Yeah, that's kind of gross, right? This guy's into some really freaky stuff, but as she brings him back, and he's kind of like a slave of hers too, kind of like one of these small little pet companion characters that she has, she brings back the horn, and they're given a key, and in order to get out of hell, Norikazu has to take the key and use it on the elf's vagina. Because, I guess, why the hell not? What am I doing with my life? How did it get this far? Maybe I should rethink my life choices. What am I doing?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Okay, so I've swept a lot of stuff under the rug already, you know, about the differences in technology, World War II, and also using a floppy disk on it, about putting a whole human consciousness into a 3.5-inch floppy disk, and also not knowing what an elevator does, but this is something which really takes the cake right here. Basically, we have Norikazu and the elf. I can understand the elf not knowing what happens at this date and time, but basically, she's using the computer to send the characters back to World War II times right before, in Hiroshima, right before the bomb drops, and they all get sent there, and there's no way for them to get back, so the bomb is just dropping. The crazy scientist is actually riding the bomb out of the plane that it drops in order to kill himself so he doesn't eventually become the machine. But he is actually part of the machine, inside of the machine, and not actually in the past. There's some crazy, like, logic hurdles going on here, but I think the first two episodes, it probably should have just ended with the first two episodes. The third episode is still really funny too, but the third episode was something that I feel like they kind of remembered the fact that they're making porn and have to make some actual, like, presentable sex scenes, because, I mean, people watch porn for I mean, I watch porn for a completely different reason. I mean, as far as hentai goes anyways, I watch it because it's really funny, and you see some really weird shit, kind of like this here, but the third episode is like, they remember that they have to include some normal sex scenes, and the majority of episode 3 is actually like some sort of S&M thing where you have this third-party character which comes out of nowhere and starts blackmailing his teacher to have sex with her, but only because he had the hots for Norikazu's girlfriend and always wanted to hook up with her.
Yukimoto, not there!
Professor, spread your legs, please.
Wait a minute, did Adventure Kid inspire Sword Art Online? You've got a crazy scientist, computer guy, who is stuck inside of his computer that becomes this alternate form of reality which sucks in Norikazu and his girlfriend, and if they die in the game, they die in real life, and the transitionary period between when they're inside of the game and outside of the game is basically this existential thing where the scientist guy is talking about his life and about how he, like, doesn't even remember why things happen anymore, but then again, he kind of remembers, even though it's like a really dumb reason. And then the third episode, the final part of this, is about this third-party guy, which doesn't really know a whole lot about any of that. He just comes out of nowhere and is trying to steal the girl and have her raped in front of him. Kind of sounds to me like a lot of the stuff out of Sword Art Online. Maybe they just took the basics and extrapolated amongst that and just created something new. Seriously though, I don't actually think that Sword Art Online was inspired by Adventure Kid, but it's just something funny to think about. So this third episode is something where I guess the creators remembered, like, hey, don't you remember we were supposed to make some porn? And like they try and make this actual sex scene here, which is something that I can imagine some people getting off to or something, because it is porn at the end of the day. And that's kind of why people watch it. It's not why I watch it. I watch it because this is some really weird stuff and I like to just laugh at it. But the third episode is just basically the guy. Okay, so we got the guy who's blackmailing his teacher for sex only because he actually likes Norikazu's girlfriend. And also we have the demon girl, the elf girl, who actually likes Norikazu. But the fact that Norikazu and his girlfriend are together and in love with each other is something which is really setting them back because they can't be with the ones that they love. So they try and concoct this love potion that is actually some deep secret from the pits of hell, and she gets it from her mom. And they make these potions. They make one potion for the guy and one potion for the girl, and they actually explain some of the contents of these potions. Like the potion for Norikazu's girlfriend contained the sperm of the guy who was like trying to hook up with her. Like, you can't make this stuff up. So they're basically what happens is their plan does not work, and somehow or another Norikazu manages to foil the plans altogether. Do you know how? Norikazu saves the day and protects his girlfriend because he drunk the antagonist's sperm. Yep, he drunk his cum. That is the end of the story here. The main character drunk the jizz of the antagonist. So that, in a nutshell, is Adventure Kid. I usually don't like to do the reviews where I just go point by point like this, but that's really the only thing you can do for something like this, because it is so crazy that if I don't explain what happens, you're not going to believe it. You should definitely check out Adventure Kid if you're into hentai for the laughs. I love laughing at hentai, especially with the dubs. I'm not really interested in things that don't have a dub to it. Like, it's got to have the dub, and it just really makes the experience to it with the way that the characters are just so monotone to everything. They're so uninspired, and I don't know, the story itself, even if I was watching this with sub, I probably would have laughed a whole lot in all honesty. But let me know in the comment section below, have you ever heard of Adventure Kid? And actually, if you go ahead and watch Super Kid because of this review, I'm not liable for any damages that may occur by slamming your face into the desk, or really anybody who's in the room and sees like all sorts of like zombie things and thinks you're like really weird. I'm not responsible for any of that, but if you do watch it, let me know about it in the comment section below and how much you really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching this the newest episode of Guilty Pleasure Theater. I'm going to have another one sometime, but I don't want to have it be hentai every single time. I'm probably going to find some trashy OVA or something to talk about next time. But yeah, thanks for watching. I really enjoy doing this, and I'll see you guys next time.